Hello, everyone. Today we will continue to talk about topic 2, the instructions, and we focus on section 2.8 about procedure call. Again, you're required to read the corresponding material in your textbook in section 2.8 in order to get better understanding about the material delivered in class. And in last class, we already talked about some about the procedure call. We talk about why we need to procedure call and how we can realize procedure call. And we talk about two instructions, right? Jump and return and jump and link, which are required in order to complete the procedure call. So let's just recall what we have learned. For example, you have, maybe we're using this one is better. So assume you have the individual lines, right? And then, in this line, you want to realize, or in the following, you want to realize certain functionality. And we said in order to optimize the organization of the codes, we will kind of bound all the or pack all the individual code in order to realize a certain functionality in one sub procedure, right? So in that way, the main procedure, if you want to using this kind of functionality, all they do is they need to through certain instruction in order to call that sub procedure. So for example, in here, I want to realize that's a swamp, right? So then what they do is they need to call the sub procedure. And this sub procedure, all they realize is realize the swamp. This functionality, right? And then after they implement this sub procedure, finish the swamp functionality, they will return to the code which is right after this procedure call. Then they can continue to finish this main procedure. And in order to realize this kind of procedure call, basically transfer the control from the main procedure to the sub procedure, we need one code called the jump and link. And then they will follow. Sorry, let me just think that. So they will realize the procedure call is a jump and the link followed by the label L. This L is the label of this procedure, sub procedure. It also is the label correspond to the first instruction in sub procedure. By doing so, they actually realize two things. One is jump. Basically, they transfer the control from this instruction, this location, into this location. That enable the sub procedure can be implemented. This basically is the first one is the jump, right? But from name you can see there's another functionality called link. What means link? Means we have to ensure after the sub procedure finish, they can jump back to the location which is right after the original procedure call, right? So in other words, we have the link, set the link between the sub procedure and the main procedure. In order to realize that, what we do is we're using the general register RA. This is a return address register. In other words, when you call this jump and link, they will automatically save the value of PC plus 4 in the return address register. We know PC is a program counter. Inside, store the memory address of the current running instruction, and then PC plus 4 exactly represent the memory address of the instruction right after this procedure call. So by doing so, we can store the return path, basically where I should return to by this return address. Again, this return address register is not represented explicitly in this jump and link instruction. However, by default, they always will do so as long as this instruction will be called. Okay, so now we finish and this jump and link. Basically, I'm able to transfer the control from this procedure calls location into the sub procedure. And then I also store the path of or between the sub procedure to the instruction right after this procedure call. So, but I still need to return, right? So we have the path, but we still need to take this action. So in our take action, we need to have another instruction called jump and return, right? Followed by the register RA. And what they do is I will jump, basically I transfer the control from the sub procedure into the main procedure, where I should return to the memory address indicated by RA. I hope this is clear. So after doing so, I'm able to finish this procedure call. But here, we also in last class we mentioned jump and link is used to represent by using R and J format because I only have an operation code and we have the constant associated with the memory address of the instruction with label L. And the jump and the return is a little bit different. Although I only have one operand, but I still using R format to represent that. If you forget how to represent, please go back to the slides, I think a note 14 to get the, the detailed information there. Okay, so now as another problem here. Okay, so you can see, and I basically jump and link, basically I transfer the control to here. But potentially, as we mentioned before, this sub procedure needs some arguments in order to complete their functionality. So where they can find this kind of argument. You can see in this instruction does not carry any location to store that, the arguments. So similarly, when you return this control back from the sub procedure to the main procedure, you potentially might need to return some value, right? So that value, the location associated with that value also does not be represented or is not represented in this jump and return instructions. So where I can find those kind of return value? This is kind of question, okay? So actually the idea is as following. So basically, just like if you're a spy, okay, you try to talk with the person or you have the contact with, you will say, okay, I have the information you want and I store in the place you know. You can see here, I didn't when during the phone call, right? The spy does not really indicate what exactly the location is, but that location is kind of its agreement or be known by both the spy and the person he contacts. Therefore, without really indicate the location explicitly in the telephone call, actually even the contact person still can find that message or that information from the place be known by both himself and the spy. So similar idea actually is here. Okay, so basically when I call the jump and the link, okay, so although it does not carry the information of where that argument located in, actually that location already known by the main procedure and the sub procedure. And that location is called argument register from A0 to A2. So basically I have A3. So basically, I have the argument register, which is only used to store this kind of arguments. And this kind of information already known by main procedure and the sub procedure. So in other words, as long as I call jump and link, okay, I transfer my control there. The first thing the sub procedure do is receive this control and go to the known place, which is A0 to A3, to find the potential argument I need to use for the procedure. Similar as return part. So basically, although when I call the jump and the return does not carry any information about where you can find the return value. However, that location already been known and agreed by the main procedure and sub procedure. And that location is the general purpose register V0 and V1. So basically, when the main procedure receives the control back, the first thing they do is go to the general purpose register V0 and V1 to find the potential return value given by or returned by the sub-procedure. I hope it is clear. Okay, so you can see the first thing, okay, so if the main procedure want to call the sub-procedure, they will prepare the argument to the known place, which is the general purpose register A0 to A3. After they store the necessary argument into this potential four general purpose register, then they will call the jump and the link to transfer the control from the sub, which is main procedure, to the sub procedure. And then when the sub procedure receives this control, the first thing is it will request the potential memory place or storage place from the processor in order for its necessary implementation. And then they will go to this agreed place to find the necessary argument they can use. And then they will begin to implement their own procedure, the sub procedure. After they reach the last instruction, finish that instruction, they will begin to prepare their return value and store that into the general purpose register V0 and V1, which are both known by the sub procedure and the main procedure. And then they will transfer the instruction back or the control back from the sub procedure to main procedure, return to the location with a memory address of PC plus 4. After doing that, or actually this PC already changed, so we say with the memory address of RA. And then after they return that, the main procedure receives as a returned control and go to the general purpose register V0 and V1 to find the potential information is needed. And then this whole procedure called finished. I hope this is clear, and this is also implemented here. So here is step 1, you can see, is put the arguments into the general purpose register A0 to A3, which is called the argument registers. And then the caller began to transfer the control to the callee, which is sub procedure, through jump and link with the label. And then the callee requires the storage place needed, and then get this argument implementation, and then implement the desired task. And then before they return this control back to caller through jump and return, it will put all the potential return value into the general purpose register V0 and V1. After doing that, they will call jump and return followed by the return address RA and return the control back to the caller. And this diagram actually is implement the same thing I want to just mention. So let's just repeat again. So step 1, basically caller, which is the main procedure, will prepare their arguments in the general purpose register A0 to A3. After that, in the step 2, they will call the return and jump on the link, followed by the label of the sub procedure we call callee to return the control, or sorry, to transfer the control to the callee. And then the callee will require, after receive the control, they will require the necessary storage place for the procedure. Also go to the A0 and A3 to find the necessary argument. After that, they will begin to implement their own procedure. After finish, they will begin to get ready to return the control back. But before that, they need to prepare the return value and put that into the general purpose register V0 and V1. And after prepare that, they will begin to call jump and return followed by RA to return to the main procedure. And the main procedure will receive the return value through an accessing to V0 and V1, and then this whole procedure called finished. I hope this is clear to you all.